From what I saw, it looked fairly serious. He was definitely hit 3 times. Thing happened so quickly that there was another eyewitness standing next to me, and she is in shock now and very fuzzy, as I am.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've kept the air on because we've heard an alarming report that Robert Kennedy was shot in that ballroom at the Ambassador Hotel in Los Angeles. A very loud noise like a clap of thunder was heard, a small explosion. We waited to see what it was, and then came a report that Senator Robert Kennedy...
Several other people on the platform, at least 3 at last count, had also been wounded in an exchange of gunfire.
Started to shake hands with us as the staff that was in the kitchen as he was coming through, and there was this guy leaning against the steam table, and Carl was pushing him. Carl Yucker, our captain, was pushing him by his left hand, trying to get him through the little crowd that was there. And all of a sudden, this guy jumped out, firing the gun. They let Carl jump out and grab the guy by the neck, and they let go of the senator, and the senator started to go down towards his knees. I think he was hit up around the head, around the temple or somewhere around there. I don't know for sure. And all of a sudden, there was another guy alongside of him, about 2 feet. He started to fall down.
He was taken out first. Was there any warning whatsoever that...
No warning, no yells, no anything. There was no yells or anything preceded the first shot.
Did the gunman say anything? Did you hear any shouts afterwards?
I didn't hear any shouts afterwards.
The man was described simply as being approximately 25 years old, 5 feet 5, weighing 135 pounds, apparently Mexican-American, dark-skinned, and shouted as after the shots had been fired, very simply, "I did it for my country, I love my country," and beyond that, no other identification of the assailant.
Can you describe what the man with the gun looked like?
Well, he had curly hair, and he looked like a Filipino.
Did he say or shout anything?
No, nothing that I heard.
He was described simply as a man appearing about 25 years old, 5 feet 5, 135 pounds, wearing blue jeans, and mumbled or shouted something after he had shot several bullets that he did it for his country, no more than that.
Roy Wilkins expressed horror, in his words, to think that this type of attempted assassination had become an American habit, as it would appear. A soldier in Vietnam asked, "What the hell is going on back there? A man has to risk his life to run for the presidency." Some communist news organizations used the occasion for propaganda attacks. The official commentator for TASS said that the Vietnam War has stimulated a criminal mentality in America and suggested that the shooting was linked to the assassination of President Kennedy. And Radio Hanoi said the incident illustrates, quote, "the dirty face and tactics of U.S. politicians who will not hesitate to spill blood in order to even the score."
And it's been reported that the suspect and another man are in custody. And until we confirm that we have the correct suspect, well, obviously we have to assume that we do not have the man.
Evidently, an unidentified television reporter said that the man who fired the shot was about 10 feet from Senator Kennedy when it all took place.
Was there a prolonged wait? It seemed like a very long time for those of us outside the door before he was transferred, taken away from the ambassador.
In all honesty, I must say that I have no knowledge of time because I was very concerned and very involved during this period, and I have no knowledge of time.
We've just received first film of the suspect in the Kennedy shooting being taken out of the Ambassador Hotel through an angry, nearly violent crowd and into a police car. Here is the scene and the suspect. There is not yet an official identification of the suspect, but you see him there. And after he'd been seized and turned over to police and taken outside the hotel, the crowd there seemed to many eyewitnesses to want to lynch him. But the police did get him into the car.
You have not yet heard any reports as to whether the man said anything, screamed anything? What?
3 witnesses have indicated that he did not scream anything, or either before the shots were fired or after he pulled the trigger.
Let's go, honey, let's go. Police protection. Ask Jordan. Yeah, Jordan and Regan, what they think now about their police force.
Absolute turmoil and shrieking, and all the memories of 1963 swept through that assembly hall. Finally, the senator was removed and taken here to central receiving.
Move back, please.
Members of the Kennedy family were led out through the crush.
This is CBS.
For more on the assailant and the shooting incident itself, CBS News correspondent Walter Cronkite.
Joe, Police Chief Thomas Redden of Los Angeles has issued a short statement regarding the suspect, the alleged gunman. He says this about him: "We don't know who the suspect is. He has made no statement. He would not speak, except once he said yes. We describe him as a male Caucasian, around 25, 5 feet 5, and about 120 pounds, swarthy complexion. His hair is described as wiry or bushy." He apparently fired all of the 8 shots in the magazine of a .22 caliber revolver. Those shots taking effect in Senator Kennedy and 4 other persons, as far as we have been able to determine, with some still rather confused reports and incomplete identification on all of the others wounded. One witness said that those shots came so close together that he could scarcely believe they were fired from one gun. A reporter heard the shots from an adjoining room, said they sounded almost like they came from a machine gun. So short was the burst of fire.
The question is, what kind of country is the United States that in just the last few years has killed a president, President Kennedy, has killed Martin Luther King, and now attempts to kill Robert Kennedy, Malcolm X, the black militant leader? What kind of curious strain of violence is there in the American people?
There have been some threats of violence toward the man who did it. I'd like to get my hands on that man, said one, and they've already killed the only real president we ever had. Another
The suspect, now being held by Los Angeles police in connection with the Kennedy shooting, is 24-year-old Sirhan Bishara Sirhan. Details of Sirhan's past are slowly being pieced together, and as of now, we know this much about him. He was born in Jordan in 1944 and was admitted to the United States as a permanent resident in January of 1957. He is not a United States citizen. Sirhan's residence is in Pasadena, California, where he resides with his mother and his brother Joe. Police searched the premises this morning and, according to Los Angeles Mayor Samuel Yorty, found the notebook in the suspect's room mentioning the, quote, necessity to assassinate Senator Kennedy. Another brother, Adele, went with police to headquarters, but not as a suspect. Police Chief Redden said the Sirhan family has been most cooperative in the investigation.
Well, we know very little bit. He's been non-communicative, and he hasn't been very helpful. He hasn't told the family about what he's been up to at all, so we don't know anything more than you do. Yeah.
Was he politically oriented at all?
Not a bit. This is what's perplexing about it.
He didn't profess any particular interest in things political?
No.
I describe him as a wonderful boy, an example for anybody.
He seemed very quiet, what you might call clean cut. He certainly didn't seem like the kind that would do it.
Sirhan graduated from a local Pasadena high school and attended Pasadena City College. One thing appears certain about Sirhan's personality: he is not highly excitable and does not appear to be mentally unstable.
The crowds outside St. Patrick's Cathedral have increased so dramatically that it's almost unbelievable. The The beginnings of the line start on 51st Street. People moving east on 51st Street away from the cathedral. And these people are moving very, very slowly now. When they get to Park Avenue, they have to move north.